Well, you know what? We don't have to worry about talking too much in detail about the next match because it was an 8-man tag team match with Mark Davis, Brian Keith, Brian Cage, and Lance Archer against Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, Mark Briscoe, and our little puppy Pockets. And again, besides that 8-man pulled out of our ass, besides the fact that this gets busier than Grand Central Station at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon with stupid subplots and ridiculous red herrings and time-wasting, time-killing, momentum-killing bullshit bad acting. We first had to suffer through 15 minutes of this match for no reason. Because there are 3 legitimate talents out of 8 guys, Ospreay, Hobbs, and Briscoe. Briscoe's been completely nullified. Hobbs has been completely nullified. And Ospreay's still supposed to be one of the top guys. And they're fucking around with this bullshit for 15 fucking minutes. And they put Pockets in there. So you can't take it seriously. It's just more indie bullshit. So, as I said, it took 15 minutes and Ospreay beat Brian Keith by swinging his elbow forcefully over the top of Brian Keith's head. Missed him again with the thing. 1, 2, 3. But then suddenly, this 30-minute afterburst starts. Davis comes in. And by the way, have I mentioned his ass is bigger than Sacramento?
You have.
He's just...
Unfortunately, that's all I could see now. And once you see it, you're like, yeah, this guy's got a big ass. I don't know
he's filled with... he's filled with fucking sand. So he jumps on Ospreay's back and grabs him in a sleeper and holds him. And Archer and Cage are getting sloppy heat on the other baby faces, and they double powerbomb Hobbs on the stairs. I'm like, for fuck's sake. And then Davis basically, Ospreay never got out of the sleeper. Davis choked him out. You remember that famous night on Raw when the Brooklyn Brawler choked out Stone Cold, right? So he just choked him out while Archer and Cage, without taking a lot of effort, beat up the other 3 baby faces. And then they play music. And out walks Kyle Felcher. And when I say walks, I mean walks. He meanders, as Aunt Lola would say. He strolled to the ring, trying to look all bad and tough. And while he was doing that, Ospreay is laying down in the ring, having been put out by the sleeper, and Archer's standing there with 1 foot on his fucking head. Again, Lance Archer could have been a talent for them years ago before they ruined him, and right now is meaningless. And you got a meaningless fucking guy standing on the neck of your top baby face. And then Kyle gets in the ring, and Archer and Brian Cage hold Ospreay, and Kyle hit him with a bunch of fake girly punches. And then he started shoving and yelling at Mark Davis, who's the one who choked Ospreay out to begin with. And now he's berating him because that's all part of this ingenious subplot where Davis is being abused and mistreated and verbally malingered by and they took forever with this. And then they took forever to make Davis hit Ospreay with a chair. And it was going slowly enough that you realize that, well, Mark Briscoe and Hobbs and Pockets apparently have all been killed. Because there's been people been run over by fucking buses that got back to their feet quicker, but they're gone and you never see them again. And then finally Davis hits Ospreay in the back with a chair, And then the heels altogether yelled at Davis and banished him from the ring. And he said, okay, I'll go. And then Felcher sets up the chair in the ring and slowly picked Ospreay up and gave him a brainbuster on the chair and then posed. And there was nobody trying to help. It was never explained where the tag team partners and the referee went. They just disappeared. They have security. We're going to see them later on. Believe me. But nobody came out because it's selective security. You've heard of social security. This is selective security. When they're back there, they're saying, oh, shit, it looks like somebody's going to get hurt. You guys, you want to go? Nah, I'm not feeling this one. Fuck that guy. He's on his own. None of it makes any sense, and it takes for fucking ever. Brian, your thoughts on this?
Can't add too much. I was surprised coming out of, again, the enthusiasm right now around what WWE's doing. You would think some of that would almost carry over to AEW just in terms of overall wrestling enthusiasm. To begin with an 8-man, the first match on the show being this 8-man, I cringe. I'm sick of these multi-man matches where they just throw people together, and then they even tried to explain on commentary why Briscoe and Orange Cassidy were the conglomeration. There is no good reason for any of this. And the Mark Davis stuff is bizarre because he was there and then he got hurt and left, and Fletcher's stuff all happened, and then he returned. They did a little thing with him, and then he was gone again, and then they brought him back now as a heel with Callis, and then they go right back to the heat between, or the issues between him and Fletcher. I'm not a fan of any of this. And it went on a long time.
Yes, very long time. You know what happened to me, Brian? It took so long for this thing to happen.
Do I know?
My hair got grayer.
How's that possible?
My hair got grayer during the time that this match took to take place. And I'll have you know that I don't have much time left on this earth. I know I'm closer to the end than the beginning, and I'll just be damned if I'm going to let these people turn me gray. So every night now, after I finish watching AEW Dynamite, I'm going to turn to our new friends at Simpler Hair Color, and I'm going to color my hair back to the way that it looked before I started watching that television program. Every week from now on, no longer am I going to wake up on Thursday mornings looking like I've spent the night in a haunted house, Brian. Because with Simpler Hair Color, I can just easily just wash that gray right out of my hair. And I won't look like Andy Warhol after he went to give blood. Have you tried this out? Have you had a couple of grays sneaking into your beardage area lately since you turned 45?
Well, I have indeed been hearing a lot about Simpler Hair Color, and I know a lot of people in my age group, I hate to say it, they kind of look like garbage, and a lot of it is just because of their hair color. They kind of have a youngish face and an oldish head of hair for no good reason.
Yeah, because there's the messiness of all these home dye kits, and and there's the harsh ingredients that salons use. You go in there to the salon, you say, make me look 20 years younger, and they're going to put all kinds of bleach and chemicals and phosphorus and battery acid on top of your head. Just like when, I have it on good authority, Penelope Pitstop. She felt like she was getting a little older, so she went in and to a plastic surgeon, said, make me look 20 years younger. He added a tail. But nevertheless, folks, Simpler Hair Color was started by a couple of guys named Patel and Brown, two men who appreciate better dyeing options for hair and beards. And I don't know, you might be able to use this for the garden down south. You never know. The last thing you want is...
No, we know. It should just be applied. Let's worry about one place to use it, and that, of course, is that head of hair.
Well, you don't want your wife to get cross-eyed in certain moments when she's looking
Let's
to see
worry
is
about
that gray as it used to be. Boy, that hair's gray there, and
You don't want your wife. You don't want your wife looking at your head of hair and ever thinking that. You want to surprise her with the hair color you used to have, or maybe the hair color you should have had. Fix all your wrongs with the right hair color. That's what I always say.
Repent now while there's still time. You can still not look like you're ready to be laid out and have words spoken over you with a bad dye job from a rotten mortician. No, don't worry about that stuff you buy in the stores and the, again, corrosive ingredients of the salons. Simpler hair color. They've got a full variety of shades to match any guy's hair and beard. It's easy to use. It's not a messy type of procedure here. One dispenser gives you the same amount of dye as 4 boxes of the store-bought stuff. It's an all-in-one product you can use on your hair and beard, and also the shrubbery around General Johnson's house may be able to benefit. And it's not going to irritate your skin. It's both gentle and effective. And see, you always want stuff to be gentle and effective, because those two things go hand in hand.
With your hair, and always, yes.
Yes, or any other things that are affected by gentleness.
Well,
but folks,
I fucking know what that
again.
Yeah, but we're talking about the way you want to treat your hair, and you want to treat it with the gentle care, but get the fiery results, whatever they may be.
Yes.
And of course, is your option with simpler hair color.
Treat your hair gentle, and every once in a while have somebody pull a big handful of it. But nevertheless, cleaner applications, gentler ingredients, unlike other companies, no waste. No waste. They will come and pick up all the dye that you drip, and they'll sell it to somebody else. Plus, simpler hair color offers free shipping and free returns, so you can try simpler hair color risk-free. And here's what you do. They ship it to you for free. You use some of it. If you don't like it, you cut off all the hair that you put this dye on, put it back in a box, and send it to them, and they will recolor your hair for you and send it back. So, folks, say goodbye to grays the easy way with simpler hair color. Head to simplerhaircolor.com/JCE and use the code JCE for 10% off your order. simplerhaircolor.com/JCE, 10% off. Make sure you use the promo code JCE, because they will know then that I sent you and that you're okay. Wink, wink, nod, nod. And that you can get the 10% off deal. And also, if you're an AEW employee, this can help you in disguising yourself and changing your looks and identity, so that way people won't recognize you on the street and you'll be embarrassed that you're on a substandard television program. Just change your fucking hair color. That worked for The Fugitive. Did you ever see the first season?
With simpler
David
hair
Jansen
color.
was blonde.
Once again, with simpler hair color, think of what it could do for Mox, for Cope, for all the stars of AEW, and think of what it could do for you. One more time, Jim. Our friends, simpler hair color, what's that promo code?
JCE, and you have not yet acknowledged that you're aware that David Jansen, in The Fugitive, Richard Kimball, the wrongfully accused doctor, was originally a blonde-haired guy, and he dyed it black.
Yes, of course.
Well, you say yes, of course, now because I've told you. But
They literally
that
they literally showed you with him on the train to start the show, so every episode began with that.
Yes, and hair dye, the bottle there.
He'd be a real idiot if he was a fugitive and didn't dye his hair. It's the first thing you do.
Well, that was simpler hair color that he used.
Well, no, let's not say that some television criminal used a product that didn't exist yet, but it can work for you.
Can you prove he didn't?
It can work for you, simpler hair color.
Well, I think he did.